Hey guys, this is Nick from ForexNoobs.com with the daily analysis. Today is Thursday, the 21st of June 2018, and the time is 11 o'clock here in the UK. In today's analysis, we're going to be looking for price action setups across all these pairs. Well, most of these pairs. When I say price action setups, what I mean is we're going to be looking for reversals, continuations, range bound trades, all kinds of setups. We're just going to be looking for price action trade setups. Just a little bit on how this analysis works. This analysis is for members only to attend live. Only members can attend live. It's not open to the general public. Some of these webinars, depending on what's discussed, are posted to are posted publicly to YouTube, and some of them are posted as private webinars that remain members only. So members can only attend live, and because I get asked, I'm explaining this because I get asked this all the time. Only members can attend live, and some of them become members only webinars as recordings too, and some of them are posted publicly. Today's one's probably going to be posted publicly. So let's jump into things. Is everyone else hearing me? Right, okay, so we're just going to go ahead and continue. So where were we? Yeah, I don't know where we were, so let's just jump in and start some analysis. All right, so you're looking at an AUDJPY daily chart now. AUDJPY, I mean, there's nothing much really that I would want to trade here because it's in between support resistance right now. So it's right in the middle of support resistance, which makes it a little awkward to trade. So yeah, I'm not going to do anything with this one. AUD New Zealand, that trade ended up working out. But as I recall from yesterday, yesterday's webinar ended up being members only. So for people who weren't who didn't see yesterday's webinar, I'll quickly explain. On Tuesday's webinar, I shared the AUD New Zealand long trade. I said I'd be going long, well, potentially, but I was kind of like not really that. I didn't really like this setup that much, but I was explaining that I would consider going long on AUD New Zealand. Yesterday we revisited this trade. At that time it hadn't hit target yet, but it was coming close, and I think I asked a few of you guys, but most of you had not entered it. Not quite sure why, but only a few people had entered this one. Well, this one ended up hitting target at 1.5. Some of you, I spoke to 2 of you on Skype who extended their target to 2. I'm not sure if that was extended further from there. Is anyone in here did anyone in the room right now take this trade yesterday, or the day before yesterday rather? While you guys answer that, well, or not answer, if there's no one here that took it, I'm just going to go on to AUDUSD, check that out, and then we'll come back to it if needed. All right, so AUDUSD, this one's dropped down to this support area. AUDUSD looks somewhat interesting right now because it's clearly struggling very heavily at this support area. This is a strong support area, and it's struggling quite heavily at this support area. It dipped down to there and reacted by moving away really quickly 2 daily candles ago. So that's 2 days ago. Now it's doing the same thing. It's pushed down to here and just moved away really quickly. So it's kind of interesting what's going on here. I'm tempted to look for a long trade, but I'm always apprehensive with this kind of setup here. Let me explain why. When you're looking for a reversal, first of all, reversals are generally counter trend, which makes them slightly riskier than continuations because you're trading counter to the trend. That's fine. You can totally trade counter to the trend. There's nothing wrong with it. But it adds a little bit of risk. So when you're adding a little bit of risk, and then there are other factors that make the trade even more risky, you really have to think about whether it's a safe trade to enter. So first of all, counter to the trend, that's going to add a little bit of risk. Now, the second point is it's already attempted to move away from this support area and failed. So is this second attempt going to be more successful? We've got two factors here that go against taking this trade. We've got big, strong bearish trend, which on its own would make me think, maybe this is slightly riskier, but I'm still willing to take it. But then we got this failed move also. So that's two factors that make this a riskier trade. So for me personally, I'm just not too sure I want to enter this one. Just a bit on the risky side for me. So yeah, if you guys want to enter it, if you think it's a safe trade to enter personally, because everyone has a different appetite for risk. Some people love risky trades, others hate risky trades. So if you want to enter it because you think it's a decent setup, then feel free. But personally, I am probably not going to do this one. Well, no, I'm not going to say probably. I'm just going to say I'm not going to do this one. Right, Euro AUD. This short trade we talked about on Tuesday's analysis. It just really hasn't been doing much, has it? It was shorted on Tuesday. I didn't enter this one, by the way, but we were talking about it in Tuesday's analysis. It had just triggered a little bit before the analysis on Tuesday. So a lot of us missed it, but I think a few people had got into this short. It turned around, came back up to resistance, and is now heading back down again. I'm not sure if anyone's still in this one. Is anyone still in this one? No, I guess not. So, for those of you who are listening and are not here live, who are still in this one, at this point, you may as well hold on to it. I mean, you're already in, you may as well hold on to it. It looks like it's heading down. If it makes a new low, that would be a really good sign. But if it fails to make that new low by tomorrow morning, I'd probably start considering exiting. I wouldn't want to hold a trade like this over the weekend. So I would give it until tomorrow morning, see what it does. If it does make a new low by tomorrow morning, when I say morning, I mean like UK time. So even up until 11, 12 o'clock in the afternoon UK time, if it does make a new low by then, I might, I would consider, if I was in it, leaving it open. But probably not even over the weekend. I'd probably leave it open till the end of day Friday and see where it's at and then close it out. I would just monitor it very closely on Friday, see how it's shaping up. But right now, it looks like it has some nice bearish momentum. Yeah, Alexander, some people are in GBP AUD. I'm going to move that up since it's pretty much the same trade, just a different pair. It does have some nice bearish momentum. So, and it has consistent lower lows, consistent lower highs over the last 3 candles on the 6 hour. So we're starting to see some momentum form in there. So I would definitely keep it open, but just, you know, be mindful that the weekend's coming up and you might not want to hold a trade like this over the weekend. All right, so you're short on GBP AUD. GBP AUD is doing a very similar thing. This one is, I'll pull this area up a little bit. Make it slightly more accurate. So this one did, yeah, a very similar thing. It was shorted. We talked about this one on Tuesday's analysis too. There's a lot of trades that triggered on Tuesday this week, which is kind of not the norm. Normally they'll trigger Wednesday, Thursday, but a lot of trades triggered on Tuesday this week. So yeah, this trade we talked about on Tuesday's analysis too. Price came up to here. It was shorted here. I didn't enter this one. But a few of you got into this one. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go over it because it's the same deal as Euro AUD. It popped down, came back up, hit resistance, and has now got some nice bearish momentum to it. So same deal, hold on to it, see where it's at on Friday morning, even going into midday on Friday, see where it's at. And if it's gotten below this low, then there's some potential to hold on to it for the rest of the day on Friday. And maybe, hey, if you really want to, hold on to it over the weekend, but I probably wouldn't. So yeah, I guess that sums up those two setups there. With AUD New Zealand, for those of you still holding it, you may as well hold on to it, see if it pushes up to there. The big problem zone for this for AUD New Zealand was this here. This was the problem zone, but it's broken through that, so now you're good to hold on to it until the next resistance area probably. So yeah, hold on to all trades, pretty much is the summary. All right, so we got Euro GBP up next. I mean, Euro GBP has just been so messy lately. It's just gone a lot of sideways. I'm not going to do anything here. It's in a range. I love it when a pair is in a range, because range trading is some of the easiest trading you can do. You trade the top of the range, you short the top of the range, you long the bottom of the range, short the top, long the bottom. But this has just been so messy that I'm just not that comfortable trading it. So yeah, I'm just going to continue to not trade Euro GBP right now. Euro JPY. Euro JPY is hitting this support area, pretty strong support area. It's already reacted at this one and pulled away, I believe, twice now. Let's jump to a lower time frame and check it out. Oh, well, it's more like once, but still, it's already pulled away from this area. I'm not going to take a trade here. I'm just going to sum it up like that and move on to something that might look a bit better. Euro USD, we were looking yesterday, talking about if it were to start moving up, potentially there would be a long opportunity, but if it were to keep moving down, which is what's happening, then we would probably see a nice short opportunity. So we're pretty open with this one, pretty flexible depending on what price done. We were just what price does. We were just watching it and waiting to see where the momentum was going. That way we could join in on the ride. So the momentum seems to be headed short. So I am going to be looking for a continuation from this support level. So what a continuation is, for those who don't know, what I like to see generally is price move away, pop back up, hit this area, and that's where you short. When it hits this area here, that's where you take your shorts, and then you trade that the continuation down. So it looks like it's breaking right now, but it's still not really made a new low beyond this recent low here. So we still got to wait and see if it breaks beyond that low. So I'm going to keep a close eye on Euro USD. I'm really interested to see what happens there. Thanks, George. All right, GBP JPY. This one's not doing much. It's in between support resistance. GBP USD, this one's heading down nicely. I think there was a few people in a continuation short here. I was a bit apprehensive about trading a continuation short from here just because it hadn't really moved away enough. And this low here kind of made me think I'm a bit apprehensive. But to those of you who did get in short here, looks to be working quite well, so good work with that. This is sort of similar to what I'm thinking of doing with EURUSD. So we probably drop down to a lower time frame and it will give you a clearer picture. Maybe even lower. Yeah, so we can see it was trending down. We know already it was trending down. Broke below the support area, came back up to it twice. And then continued down. That's similar to what I want to do with EURUSD. So it's a similar setup already occurred on GBP/USD. I'll answer that question after we're done going through the pairs. All right, New Zealand USD. New Zealand USD is forming it's quite interesting what's happening with New Zealand USD. This is a strong support area, this one here. It's a very, very strong support area for New Zealand USD. So if we go back to, when was this exactly? It was 2 years ago. It was June 2016. So that's 2 years ago. 2 years ago, New Zealand USD broke up above this resistance area. It was resistance at the time. You could see it had two very strong bounces there. 3, in fact. So it was a resistance area at the time. It broke up above this resistance area. Well, it broke up above it earlier than that, but this was the latest break above it. And ever since that time, for 2 years, it's been above this resistance area. Which then became support. It hasn't been able to get back below it. It's made several attempts at getting back below it, several attempts, and each time has resulted in a spectacularly strong retrace or reversal from buyers, from the bulls. So it came down, boom, turned around. Came down again, boom, turned around all the way to there. Came down again. This one wasn't as quick because it turned around, came back down, turned around, came back down, and then boom, turned around and went all the way back up. So, and then again here, turned around, came back up. So now we have another attempt at getting through here. Is this one going to succeed or is this one going to fail? That's always the question when you're trading counter trend reversals. Is this one the one that's going to go through, or is this one the one that's going to or is this one like the others and is going to turn around and continue to move up? Is it going to repeat the same pattern that it's been repeating for 2 years now? So it's quite an interesting setup. It's a strong support area. It's already stalling out there. I am definitely looking for a long here, guys. Definitely looking for a long. So with this, I'm just trying to think, like, today is Thursday, so we got tomorrow. That's when this trade would probably trigger. I really hate it when really good trades trigger on Friday, because it makes things tricky. So if this is triggering probably tomorrow, depending on what happens. I mean, it could very well just continue down and break this area and just, head down. That's totally possible. But let's say everything works out the way we want it to. Price stalls here today. Tomorrow's candle opens up, shoots up, boom, to here. And we want to get into that trade. We would then get into that trade knowing that we're going to have to hold that over the weekend, and it's only just opened. I'm not against holding trades over the weekend, but it just depends where they're at. If a trade has, let's say this is my entry level. That's my entry level. It triggers, then, Friday, just before market close, this candle has triggered my entry and moved up to here. Something like that. I don't like holding a trade like that over the weekend because it's very easy for price to gap down, to here, let's say. I mean, it's not a common occurrence, but it's not uncommon either to get really big gaps over the weekend. You know, something can happen over the weekend that just causes a massive gap in price, and then that would probably go beyond my stop loss, and I'd lose more than I'm willing to lose. But if instead I enter this trade on Tuesday, for example, because it triggered earlier, and then by that time price is up here, I'd be completely fine with holding it over the weekend, because it's very unlikely that price is going to gap from here all the way down to here. That's a massive gap. That rarely happens, something like that. So, you know, this is why I'm apprehensive about opening this trade tomorrow, because it's unlikely that by the end of the day tomorrow, this is going to have reached, you know, up here somewhere. It's an unlikely scenario. But this is such a good potential setup that I probably will open it tomorrow if I have to. So keep a close eye on this one. This one could form, depending on how today's candle closes and how tomorrow's candle opens and where it goes, we could be looking for a nice reversal from here. Yeah, that's a good point. I completely forgot about that, Catherine. New Zealand rate. Wait, are you sure that's next Wednesday? For some reason, I'm thinking the Wednesday after that. Let me double check. I'm sure you're right and you're looking at it, but by the time you answer, I can already have the calendar up. So. Yeah, okay. All right, actually, you answered before I got the calendar up, but whatever. Right, so yeah, it's on the 27th. You're right. Yeah, it could be stalling out here because of that. That rate statement could drive price up. It's definitely something to consider. Wouldn't stop me entering the trade, but the cool thing is this might give us a little bit more time to enter. We might see just price action dying down and stalling along this level before the rate statement. So it might give us a bit more time to enter. We might not need to enter on Friday. Might be able to enter on Monday or Tuesday, which would be cool. So yeah, keep a very close eye on this one, guys. This is a decent setup here. Right. I'll get to the questions later, guys. USDCAD. Right. So USDCAD. This is trending up quite well. We were looking at it yesterday thinking, similar to EURUSD, two possibilities. Yesterday, I was thinking, okay, price is stalling at this resistance area, but it's trending up. So if it stalls and the following candle, which is today's candle, starts to push down and we start to see sellers take control, starts to make new lows, then I'd be looking at taking a short trade here. I'd be looking at entering a short trade, a short reversal trade. If instead today's candle starts pushing up, creating new highs, then I'd be looking for a continuation of this trend, and I'd be looking for some sort of continuation trade. So that's what's happening right now. We're seeing a potential continuation here. So, I mean, it's obviously not happened yet because it needs to move up, come back down, and then we could trade the continuation. So this one probably we won't really see much here until Monday. Or maybe tomorrow even on one of the lower time frames. Continuations are fine to trade on the lower time frames. So by tomorrow, let's say on the 6 hour, it could do something like that. So it could pop up, come back down, and then there could be a potential long trade. So just keep a close eye on USD CAD. Still looking good, but shorts are off the table. We're looking for longs now. Now we've decided because we've seen how things have unfolded. USDCHF, I mean, this one's still just doing its thing. There's no potential setup here, not for me. USDJPY, I'm not really interested in this either. And I guess that wraps it up for the analysis in terms of what's coming up. So AUD New Zealand, I'm going to unflag this because this is done. Euro AUD, for those of you who are still short, just probably hold on to that at least until tomorrow. morning slash very early afternoon. So I would say around midday. GBP AUD, similar. If you're short, you may as well hold on to it until tomorrow. Exact same as Euro AUD. So the potential setups we have, USD CAD, we're looking for a long continuation from this support level. I'm happy to look at that on lower time frames. We just need it to push up, come back down, boom, continuation. New Zealand USD, looking for a reversal from here. I mean, this is an immensely strong support area. It's held price back for 2 years. So we're looking to trade along from here. I'm very interested in this setup. So let's keep a close eye on this one, guys. Yeah, OPEC news could affect CAD, but as always, I tend to just trade for news these days, so it doesn't really matter that much to me. Euro USD, I'm looking for a short continuation, so I want to see how this one plays out. Sure. Yeah, you have it there, I assume. I put it here because the most recent, we got like a strong bounce down here. And then we got a strong wick bounce a few days ago down here. So I pulled it down. The reality of the matter is that all the way through here on this pair, there's support. All the way through here, there's support. It's just quite messy, and it's not something that I'm that inclined to trade because of just the amount of messiness and orders down here. There's just too many buy-sell orders. Things just get messy in these kinds of areas, so it's just off the table for me, really. So with Euro AUD and GBP AUD, so you're talking about shorting when it comes back up to it. So it's pushed up to it. You've missed the trade. Now you're going to short when it reapproaches it. I mean, you can do that. If it's part of your trading plan, you can do that. I personally don't like doing that. I'm not a huge fan of doing that. We had a pretty strong bullish trend here. Price was trending up. It broke that previous downtrend, arguably. Price was trending up. We talked about this in the webinar on Tuesday too, about entering on a big retrace. So price is trending up. We're shorting. We're jumping in short. Now, after we jump in short, things start to turn around and it goes back up. It's already trending up. It starts to go back up. Nothing about that says to me, all right, now's a good opportunity to jump in short again. Yeah, it's hitting resistance again. Yeah, sellers could come in, the bears could flood the market and cause price to drop like they did. But there's still the fact that overall this trend is up. And we're trading counter to the trend. Now, our counter trend trade's already not going well. Why would I want to enter on when buyers are showing strength again? When sellers, or when bears rather, have shown that they can't even push down to here without turning around. So I wouldn't enter on that second one. That's just me personally. That's how I see things. I think it's too risky to enter on that second attempt. But if you entered on the first one, then holding on to it is fine. But opening up a new trade after it's already failed to push down once, It's not something that I really like doing. Obviously, in this specific situation, it looks like it would have worked out well for you, but overall, my stats show that it doesn't work out well. My numbers show that it doesn't work out well. So yeah. Ash, I didn't see your question on Skype. Advanced continuation trading is something that is for members only. So it's not something I want to answer in this webinar because this webinar is going to be posted publicly. So I'll answer that to you on Skype. Are there any other questions, guys? All right, well, it doesn't look like there's any other questions. Therefore, we can end this webinar. Thank you guys for attending. Next webinar will be Tuesday at 11, probably. The time could change as always. Sorry, no, I've already messed up. Next webinar is going to be Tuesday at 10 a.m. UK time. Be aware that the times can change at short notice, but usually I try to give at least 12 hours notice before the webinar starts. So thank you guys for attending. I will see you on, well, I'll see you guys on the forum, obviously, and we'll chat on the forum because you're all members. But I'll see you for the next live webinar on Tuesday next week. So yeah, thank you guys for attending, and I'll see you later.